welcome to the Groove Lab podcast 10 question series where we ask your favorite artist and musician 10 questions. So for the first episode, I've got my drummer and co-host of the Groove Lab, Jeff Odom.
Hey guys.
He is going to answer some questions
We
can hopefully get to know him a little bit
I'm worried.
better. Be scared.
I'm always scared when you ask me questions, especially on film.
Right? Okay. You ready, Jeff?
I'm ready. Let's go, girl.
Okay. So, what is your favorite part about being a drummer?
My favorite part of being a drummer is just really hanging out with all the other musicians, being with people like you, Lauren, being all with the singer and songwriters and the other musicians. That's my favorite part, to hang out with all these incredibly talented people. It's been really a great experience in my life being with all these other musicians, and they inspire you and get you to be better at what you're doing. So yeah, that's my favorite part.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right.
What is your least favorite part about being a drummer?
The gear, the load in, the load out, the travels home after a long gig. It can be a little wearing, physically and mentally. You know, it can be a lot. I mean, it's great when you're on stage, but there's that time at 3 a.m. when you still got another hour to get home that you're thinking, why am I doing this? You know, and then turn around the next day, you have another gig. And so the older I get, the harder that part is. Still worth it, but it is difficult.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah, for sure. What first got you into music and what led you down the path of being a drummer?
That is a very good question. What first got me to me? It'd have to be my upbringing. Music was everything in my house. Like, it literally, every second of the day revolved around music. Whether my dad was playing it or singing it or my mom singing it, whether in church or on the radio or at work, music was, every second of my life was being played in my house. My dad was a wannabe songwriter, and he had a whole book of songs that he wrote that I have to this day. And so it was, everything about music was my life. And, you know, if he had thousands of records in the house, and there's an old TV show called Hee Haw that was on every Saturday night in our house. And so it was always that. And they treated these musicians as if they were actually family members. They would talk about George Jones or Merle Haggard or Hank Williams or Lefty Frizzell as if they were people they actually knew. They were almost like family to them. And so every time I thought about it, they always thought about they were my family as well. You know, I always felt very close to them. So growing up, I knew that I was going to be in music one way or the other. I was naturally drawn towards the drums at an early age. At a very early age, I wanted to play drums. And so that was just a natural thing. I think I was just drawn to all the movement because I was kind of spastic as a child, as you can imagine, you know. My arms and legs were everywhere. I was constantly beating on things, you know, at a very, very early age. And so it was just what I was supposed to do in life was to play drums. And so, like a lot of children, I have the same story. Come register for school, 11 years old, I want to be in band. What instrument do you want to play? Well, all the kids want to play drums, naturally. Yeah. I was one of the lucky ones that actually got chosen to play drums because I think I had to do like this test and see if I was coordinated enough to do it, you know? A lot of people, all the boys and the girls all want to play drums. You can't have a band full of drummers, which would be kind of cool, but it's not something they wanted, you know? Right. And so I think it was some kind of test. I don't remember, it was a long time ago. Anyway, you did the test, and then you kind of work your way up. And listen, I went through middle school, through high school, and college on scholarship playing drums. And so I've been on the drum corps, all through my teenage years up into my 20s, I was on a drum corps. That was my first love. And then I moved to drum set. But my first love was drum corps. But yeah, that's how I got into drums.
Okay, 2 things. First of all, I was on the drum line.
Yeah? What, did you play cymbals?
I played the cymbals.
We always had that one girl.
I was so cool though, okay?
Yeah. We always had that one girl that for some reason was an alternate cymbal player, and I never understood like they were like a failed flute player or clarinet player.
Oh my God, I literally was a flute player.
Yeah, they thought she wasn't really good at flute, so let's put her on cymbals. So that was you.
Oh my God.
You would have hated us because we made so much fun of the cymbal player girl that got stuck in the drum line.
I'm sure I got made fun of, but the drummers were kind of rude.
Kind of like rude?
Go as hard as they could.
Oh yeah. Listen, when you hold the cymbals, it was almost mandatory for us to try to hit the hands of the people holding the cymbals. It was like a thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I got over that very quickly and stopped going to band.
Yeah, well, Yeah. If you couldn't play flute and you couldn't play cymbals, what else you gonna do?
I actually could play the flute. They switched me to oboe. So I played oboe in Kid March with an oboe. So I got on cymbals for 1 year, and then I just stayed there because there wasn't much going on. It was just chilling.
The oboe is like the worst sounding instrument ever.
Well, and they didn't even teach me how to play it. I played the flute, and
even with a flute, you have to really learn how to play that thing.
I was pretty good at the flute, but
it's difficult to make music come out of a flute. It's not easy.
Anyway, this is your interview. So,
is it my interview? Like always, it always has to be about Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Second thing though, I did not know your dad was a songwriter.
Yeah.
Jeff.
He went by the name Hank Wallace. His name was Wallace. He loved Hank Williams so much he went by Hank Wallace.
Do you have this book of songs?
We do.
Jeff! We have your dad's guitar that Richard repaired.
That's true.
You have a book of songs. Should we make this a thing?
It is. It's very, very true. All of that is 100% true.
Let's do this. What?
I don't know. We never discussed it.
Let's
all
do
these
this.
years.
I cannot believe that.
That's true.
Okay, so
we'll work on that. Mom, if you hear this interview.
Where were we? Okay, I already know the answer to this question.
Okay.
But what drummer do you most look up to, and why? Everybody that knows Jeff probably knows the answer to this question.
It's true. It's well known. Yeah, Jeff Odom is my favorite drummer. He's no longer with us. He's passed away, but he's his impact is still felt everywhere. I mean, he was on all the Sessions albums in the 70s and 80s out in LA, and he was the drummer for Toto. He was known for his shuffle work, and honestly, he just made drumming make sense to me when I was a young child. A lot of people were like gravitating towards some really crazy drumming and stuff that I was like, man, that is unreal. I don't know what's going on there. But when I heard Jeff playing, I was like, okay, I know what he's doing. I know how he has that groove going, and I was always more into grooves more than anything. And yeah, he was it. I've seen Toto several times in concert, all over around the United States. But yeah, Jeff died in '92. But yeah, he's my favorite drummer.
I knew it.
He knew it.
I knew it. What does your typical gig day look like?
Oh, a lot of relaxing. I do try to go to the gym on some gig days, do a light workout, but at this age, it's a lot of, yeah. I chill a lot. I have to really chill a lot because, like we discussed earlier, the load in and load out, the travel can be very wearing. So I eat well. I wake up in the morning, I eat a good breakfast, and I try to chill. I may go to the gym. I may do a light workout, but other than that, it's really is trying to relax as much as possible, get into a zen moment. And on the way to the gig, I'll play some music to get me pumped up to play the gig. But yeah, when I was younger, it was like Dr. Peppers and a bunch of sugar as much as possible, and you're just like, you're ready to go. Not anymore. It really is as chill as I freaking can get.
Yeah, you have to save up your energy.
Yeah, I have to save up for my energy, I do. Yeah.
Do you have any hidden talents?
Do I have any hidden talents? Yeah, I think so. I'm a I'm a I'm a very good handyman. I have a lot of rental properties, and so when it comes to like doing electrical work, doing carpentry, doing drywall, doing painting, doing plumbing, hanging ceiling fans, changing plugs, I can do all that stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I can do. I just remodeled the house, and so that is. My dad trained me as a young child. He was in construction, and so I learned how to do certain things, and that's maybe my hidden talent, I guess you could say.
So if anyone needs help with any household stuff,
just call me. I'll come over, help you out.
Tell me about your best and your worst performance. My
best and worst performance. Okay. Well, I try not to have any bad performances, but it does happen. And for me, it wasn't a bad performance for the band, for you. This was several years ago. I was on some medication, and I should not have been on stage for numerous reasons, but I had to gut through this gig, which was probably no more than an hour time, if I remember correctly. And I was out of it. I was out of it through the whole gig, and I had to suck it up for those minutes. And I remember sucking it up. I was fine, but as soon as you said thank you, good night, I was gone.
I was gone. Stage.
I had to roll out, and I remember going and crashing in the car, and like, y'all have to load my gear up. I'm done. And I never want to be that way again. I never have been that way again. I just haven't needed any medication. I was sick or something going on. I can't remember. But yeah, that was a bad gig, and we were opening up for a fairly big name, and it was just kind of disappointing on my part. But the concert was great. Lauren was awesome. It was just, I was not at my full strength that night, and that was not great. One of the best gigs. Listen, I've had lots and lots of gigs in my life. I'm 50 years old.
Are you really?
I'm 50.
Jesus.
I know. And so when it comes to all right, my best gig. When it comes to that, it's how you measure them, because is it the amount of people? Is it how well you engage with the audience? Because as a drummer, a lot of your performances is how everybody else is doing, because you're the rhythm section, you're not the front man, so you don't really get to control the response to the audience as much. You can just do as much as you can. So in regards to best gig, it always depends on how the audience responds to the lead singer per se, because I really have nothing really else to do besides keep time and perform my job as a drummer. And so a lot of times I base the best performances on how people are reacting to you. When I'm playing for you, how are they reacting to you, And then I walk away going, man, that was a good gig because they really responded to what we're doing and what we're trying to do. And since I played with a lot of artists, but since you and I are discussing, we'll just discuss one of my favorite gigs with you. There's been numerous gigs. There's some when you are very nervous. That makes me happy.
Does it?
I like seeing you nervous because it gets you out of your comfort zone. I'm very rarely nervous at all when I'm performing. At this point in my life, I just don't get very nervous once I sit behind a set of drums because I'm not talking to the audience.
Right.
I'm just doing my thing, and I can just do my thing. You are a performer, so you have more responsibilities rather than just singing. You have to engage, you have to discuss, you have to talk, you have to be the front man. So when I see you in an uncomfortable position, then I get to see how will you work your way through these issues. And we'll tell two quick stories.
Are we sure? Quick stories
about Lauren. No, all right. One that you were very uncomfortable with, that you've well established, was when we were playing in Orange County, when we were playing at the Hilton in front of all those other musicians.
Yes.
And it was a packed hotel with
thousands of people.
And there were a lot of people who are in the music industry watching us.
That's all. We were at the NAMM conference.
Yeah,
and it was just filled with musicians and
Yeah,
I
and it
mean,
was a big
music
show. It
industry
wasn't a
people.
normal show.
Yeah.
And Lauren walks in and she immediately goes to the bathroom because she is going to start crying because it was overwhelming for her. And I saw some famous drummers out in the crowd, and it was a big moment. Anyway, she did awesome. She stepped up and she played. And it was a really great gig, and I'll always remember that because it was out of her comfort zone, and she had to really step up to the plate. So those are the kind of moments that I really like, when she gets to engage in a way that gets her out of her comfort zone, you know. So I really like that. And we had a lot of compliments afterwards when we played. A lot of drummers came up to me, spoke to me about what I was doing back there, how they were impressed. And so that kind of stuff always sticks with me. But I think my number one gig that I really love when I've done with you, we were in Nashville, and you connected with people in the audience and they started to cry over your song.
Oh, yeah.
That is what it's all about. I
That's
love that. Your song Wildflower, you're sitting there singing this beautiful song that you wrote to yourself when you were having issues booking shows. The song is a great song. If you hadn't heard it, check out Wildflower. It's on YouTube and on Apple. And I absolutely love it. It's a great song. And you were singing and you connected with audience members and they were crying along with the song because you let your emotions out. And I love that. If I could sing, I would love that, but I'm not a singer, I'm a drummer. And so I don't get to sit back and watch. And that was one of my favorite moments.
That was a very cool moment.
Yeah. Most embarrassing moments is when we walked into NAMM.
No, okay.
Okay, we can just go, but one of the moments that when I walked into NAMM, this dude came up to me immediately and hugged me and said, "Hey man, it's good to see you, man. Been a long time." And he was embracing me, and I didn't know who he was. This was in LA. No one knew me, really. Only a few people in that whole show who knew who I was. And so he was like, and I was like, "Hey dude, what's up?" And he looked at me and he saw the look on my face and he was like, "Sorry dude, I thought you were someone." I don't know who he thought I was. But everybody always thinks I'm Rob Zombie, but I know he didn't think I was Rob Zombie. I don't know who he thought it was, but it was I know he had to be completely embarrassed. And and I don't get embarrassed, but I was slightly embarrassing for me too. I was like, dude, what do I say? You know?
Okay, I want to talk about your most recent embarrassing situation. I was not there for it. I heard about it after the fact.
Okay, what did I do?
Jeff just decided to fall off his drum seat.
Oh, I did. I did. Recently, I was doing a show with Lee Mathis. I played with Lee, and I dropped my drumstick. And the way I was positioned on the stage, I didn't have a guardrail behind me, and I leaned down to get my drumstick, and my drum throne was on the edge of the stage, and I literally in slow motion started falling completely backwards. And the bass player Byron saw me going. He said, "You were there for a moment, and then you were gone." And I was completely fell off the stage into this crevice, and it right in the middle of. Everybody saw it. It was really embarrassing. My wife came and ran and got me up, and I jumped up on the stage like, "Okay, guys, I'm ready to go." You know, I tried to play it off, but man, it was. I felt so vulnerable at that moment in time where I could not stop from falling. It was such a weird moment, you know, and I was completely sober, obviously.
Okay, so if anyone has videos from that night, I would love to see it.
No.
Send it along.
No, you can pass on that.
Okay, so you talked earlier about how when you're driving to a gig, playing some music to pump you up. Mm-hmm. I know this might be hard, but what's the one song that you put on that like pumps you up?
The one song?
Yeah.
Oh, that is tough.
I know.
Lauren, that is tough. Depends on my mood, really. But I do have a playlist of songs that really get me going, you know, and it involves a lot of different people. You're on the list. There's some songs that I listen to you to get me going.
Really?
It's true. And, you know, stereotypical stuff like The Chain by Fleetwood Mac, that bass line and that that going, You Can Go Your Own Way by Fleetwood Mac can get me going. I'll listen to some Elvis, will get me going, Suspicious Minds, just something to get me pumped up. I'll do that. I will go old school because I was completely into the grunge movement. I will throw on Pearl Jam, the album 10, and I will just hit that to a gig, and that will really get me going. Nirvana. You know, some of the typical stuff that most musicians would listen to is what I listen to. But yeah, you're on the list.
Nice.
You know, if I need to get in that Zen moment, I'll put you on.
Be Zen,
you know?
yeah. Cool. Do you remember the first time that we met?
I do.
Is this a good question?
It is a good question because it's interesting.
Okay.
Because you were 12.
I was on 12.
No, she was really young. I got a call about from a friend of mine who wanted to know if I was available to play drums for this young lady in Bullard that needed a drummer for a show in the Dallas area. And I was like, yeah, sure, man, no problem. But they didn't tell me that to find their house, you needed a compass and you needed smoke signals. You needed all kinds of things to find this house. It was ridiculously hard to find where she used to live out in the boonies in Bullard. Now that I know where she lived, it's easy, but the first time it was ridiculously hard.
I think the problem was not...
And she was trying to give me directions.
I think it was me giving directions.
Yeah, and met your mom for the first time. She met me out in the driveway, and I was like, am I supposed to be here? And I walk in, and and she's so ditzy. She's like, I don't know, and she's so shy. She's like,
I was very shy. I was like, was I 16? 17?
17 years old. But, really, honestly, the first time I met you, though, that was the first time I went to your house. First time I met you, I went to see you perform at the Java Jam at Berkshire's just to see what I was getting into with you. And I remember going up to you afterwards, like, if you ever need me to be your drummer, I'll always be there for you because you were so talented. I remember hearing you. I was like, you're just really, really good.
That's true, and then we've been chilling ever since.
Ever since, and you were right in the middle of that show. I remember this now.
Oh God!
Right in the middle of the show, your dad came in, and on microphone, you're like, "Hey, Dad, that's my drummer." I thought it was really cute, and we've been together ever since.
That's awesome. It's been a long. How old am I?
It's been a longer.
17. If I was 17, and now I'm almost 29. Jeez.
Yeah, you were just right out of high school when I met you.
That is nuts.
No.
Okay, well, last question. Do you have any advice for fans? Like maybe people at a show or listening to music at home. Like, do you have any advice for them?
Well, yeah, advice when it goes to live music. There is some good advice, I think, because I think we all love listening to live music, but sometimes we kind of forget the etiquette when you listen to live music. And you got to remember, when there's somebody up on stage singing, whether it's a band, whether it's just a girl with a guitar or a guy with a guitar, they're being as vulnerable as they possibly can up on stage for you. Show them love. Appreciate what they're doing. Whether it's your cup of tea or not, at that moment it really doesn't matter, because you got someone who's up there pouring their heart out in front of you on stage. Clap.
Do it.
Tip. Express your love for them. Take pictures, promote, whatever it is that you can do, because what you're doing is you're spreading love. And you're really spreading the word on someone who is trying to promote their music as much as possible. No matter what level they are, everybody started at a very, very low level, and they have worked their way up to some extremely high level, but they all started in a coffee shop. Most of them did, or in a honky tonk. Show them love. Express your love to them by clapping and by acknowledging them, and don't ignore them. If you're eating, put your head up, look at the stage when the song is over, and acknowledge their presence, because nothing is more defeating than you see someone up there who is really giving it their all, and the song ends and everybody is looking at their food.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, and I get it, you worked all week, you went out and you're having a good time with your wife or your kid, you're eating and you're in a conversation, and you don't remember what's going on. You may need a reminder to clap or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But just show some love to people, because if you're going out of your way to go to a place to have live music, then if you're purposely going to that place, then show the love to the
Show the
artist.
love and keep the music alive.
Yeah. I mean, we've all missed it during this pandemic. We all were saying, man, I can't wait till the venues open up again.
What I would give.
But when you do, continue to show the love to the people.
That's really good advice. Thank you for doing this.
I know. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. You
Yeah.
scared me. I wasn't sure where we were going with some of these questions.
Well,
You know me so well.
I do, but we'll save some juicy stuff for the podcast.
Oh, I'm worried. I am so worried.
But thanks for doing this. This was
Hey,
fun.
no problem.
And I hope you guys enjoyed it. You can catch me and Jeff every Wednesday on
Podcast one?
on what?
On podcast is what?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to edit.
You can catch our brand new episodes of Groove Lab every Wednesday. And we will see you then.
Be groovy.
Stay groovy.